Alola friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Metagrossman, and today, just like always, I am your coach for the Texan Clearbodies in Season number 1 of the STL. This is week number 4, in which we go up against the Ampharos, better known as Andalals Ampharos, I think it was? I can't say his name correctly, I apologize. But their coach is Andalaru. I'm gonna guess his name is actually Andrew, but I could be wrong. His name could be Andal, it could be Andrew, I don't know. Anyway, we are going up against Andalaru and his Andals Ampharos, if you will. But before we hop into the battle, because this is week 4, we're gonna have the team builder and the battle. But before the battle, let's go ahead and hop in to the team builder here. Now, on the left side of the, no, not the left side, the right side of the screen, since I can't tell what's left and what's right, I apologize, but on the right side over here, roughly, you'll have my opponent's draft, as well as my draft, on the side over here for you guys to reference. And then we have over here, on the right, or on the left, see, I still can't do it. On the left side, we have my team that I bought for this week, as we're going to cover that. And then on the left we have my opponent's team draft, as well as my opponent's draft, as well as mine. I can't think straight. I apologize. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into my team for week number 4 of the STL against Andalals Ampharos. So, my opponent, when you look at his team, he has a very, 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 very slow team outside of his Crobat, which is base 130, which makes his Crobat his fastest Pokemon. His Mega is Mega Aggron. He has Toxapex. He has, I can't even remember what else he has. He has Crobat, he has Toxapex, Mega Aggron, Murkrow is potentially there. Clefable's there, and a bunch of other things that I cannot remember off the top of my head at this present time, but you guys have access to over here, so use that as a reference point. The first thing, though, on our team, but like I was saying, his team is very slow. Crobat's the fastest thing on his team, but he is fairly well-rounded outside of the fact that he gets nuked by Psychic. Nuked by Psychic. Entirely nuked by Psychic. And my team has a lot of Psychic on it. So it's like, well, what are you going to do? I mean, oh, another thing he has that I just remembered is Alolan, another option he has is Alolan, whatchamacallit, what's the ghost type one? Alolan Marowak, that's what it is. He has Alolan Marowak on his draft potentially, which I think that one, when I was team building, was a very, very scary option because of the fact that Thick Club doubles his attack stat, and he gets access to Shadow Bone, which most of my team, at least 4 of my Pokemon, are Psychic types, so one Shadow Bone with the Thick Club will nuke me entirely. Another thing he gets, his Z Captain, another one of his Pokemon that I'm remembering right now, is his Z Captain, Porygon Z. Now, Porygon Z is not the fastest thing in the world, but it's not the slowest thing either. Sitting at a beautiful base 90 makes it very, very respectable as well. But those are his team members as best as I remember them. So yeah. Now that we've kind of gone over his team a little bit and what he's got access to, but as best as I remember it, let's go over my team. First thing on our team here, as you can see, is our Trojan Broomstick, Minior, Shell Smash and Sweep like always, White Herb, Shields Down, with Shell Smash on a set of course, 248 HP because I want to be bulky, Max Attack, Adamant Nature because I want to hit as hard as I possibly can, and an 8 in my speed because that's all I have left. Because some of his Pokemon are base 60, so I want to make sure I speed creep them so that they don't speed creep me. The next thing, we have Acrobatics to nuke pretty much everything on his draft. Earthquake for Toxapex, Stone Edge for Crobat, and then Acrobatics for everything else, basically. Next thing on our draft here is Mega Alakazam. Our basic Alakazam with Alakazite carrying Magikarp to start, of course. Yeah, I'm thinking about it for a second as to what. Oh yeah, I remember why I bought this set now. I felt like for a second, but anyway, Mega Alakazam, Magikarp to start, of course. Because I don't want to take hazard damage and things like that. Psychic to murder Crobat, Psychic to murder other things, basically. Shadow Ball for the Alolan Marowak, Focus Blast for the Mega Aggron. With my investment, I about 2-hit KO it, just about, because of its filter ability. I am able to just about 2-hit KO it. Shadow Ball nukes the Alolan Marowak, and then Taunt is to stop his Toxapex from setting up Toxic Spikes if he brings that. It stops him from Calm Minding on his Clefable, if he brings that, of course. It stops Stealth Rocks from Mega Aggron. It stops Roar from Mega Aggron in case he tries to roar my Minior out. Because when I was team building, another scary potential set was Roar, Stealth Rock, Mega Aggron, which stops my Trojan Broom from sweeping. And that scared me because I was kind of depending on Trojan Broom like I have been so far this season. But yeah, so we have Taunt there to stop stupid bullshit, basically. And you guys are thinking, well, hey, you have max special attack, that makes sense. You're modest, that makes sense. Why the hell do you have max defense? And why do you only have 4 speed investment? Because here's why. Because I outspeed everything on his team without investment outside of a Choice Scarf Porygon Z and a Crobat that is max speed. Focus Blast, of course, we already know, is also to neuter the Porygon Z. That's another thing. But my max special attack just guarantees that I get off as much damage as I need to get off, or am able to get off. Psychic, for example, with my investment of max special attack, 2-hit KOs, defensive utility, Unaware Calm Mind Clefable. Even. It's like 51% damage or something like that. So it just about evenly 2-hit KOs it. So I needed to run max special attack for that. But you're like, well, you only have 4 speed. That's because I outspeed everything outside of a Choice Scarf Porygon Z and a max speed Jolly or Adamant Crobat. Now I could have outsped a max speed Crobat if I'd like to have done that. And to do that, I would have probably had to run I think it was like 220 speed or something like that. Or 236, something like that. Some weird odd speed like that. And I was like, I could, but I don't want to. Because this set design, this specific set build, allows Mega Alakazam, after Mega Evolving, to take 1 hit from Adamant, non-thick club boosted Shadow Bone. It allows me to take 1. But that kind of goes to show you how frail Alakazam is. But you know what? I wanted to try it. I could make it work. It was a funky set. Some heat, if you will. I wanted to try it, see what happens. After I Mega Evolve, of course, I have... It's 277 right now, but after I Mega Evolve, it goes to... It's like 337 or something like that. So, I'm actually faster than everything on his draft once I Mega Evolve, if I do. The next Pokemon we have is our designated lead, Life Orb, Magic Bounce, Espeon. Now, there's a difference between Alakazam's Magic Guard and Magic Bounce on Espeon. I need a nickname for Espeon, by the way. If somebody has a nickname for Espeon, let me know down below, please. And thank you. So, Magic Bounce reflects back hazard affiliations. Stealth Rocks, Toxic, Whirlwind, Roar, things like that. So I absolutely needed to bring this thing to hard stop the hard stop roar, hard stop, anything like that. To hard stop his defog if he decided to bring defog Crobat. Which defog Crobat as well as Murkrow that's another thing I forgot to mention. He has like Murkrow. Eviolite Murkrow, of course. But Murkrow as well as Crobat are the only two things that he can use to actually sweep. Or I'm sorry, to clean up the hazards that if I'm able to put them up. So I needed to bring this to prevent that from happening. And then I decided to run Life Orb on this because I could have run Choice Specs, but my coverage is there, so I didn't want to cover. I didn't want to run Choice Specs and just limit myself, given that he had a Murkrow that could eat up my Psychics and I do 0 damage to it. So I kind of didn't want to do that, so I was like, okay, next best option is to click Life Orb, and we rocked out with Life Orb. So yeah, on the set now, this is one of those Pokemon that I had 4 move syndrome for, because I have the 3 moves I need to have, and then I was like, what am I supposed to put there? And then I thought about, hey, well, he has a Toxapex. Toxapex gets Toxic Spikes. What if he runs Toxic Spikes and poisons half of my team? Let's have Heal Bell as a support utility move on this Espeon to kind of deal with his Toxapex a little bit better, so that his Toxapex doesn't get to sweep my entire team by poison stalling it with Baneful Bunker and things like that. Because if you didn't know, one of Toxapex's abilities, I cannot remember the ability off the top of my head, but one of Toxapex's abilities makes it so on contact it gets to poison you, as long as poison applies. Given exception to steel types and things like that, obviously. But we have on our set, and so I was like, well, if that's the thing, I kind of need Heal Bell as a support move to deal with that, because that could be a problem if I let that exist. So we have Magic Bounce, of course, which we already covered. HP Fighting, Hidden Power Fighting was there for me to deal with. To deal with Mega Aggron. When I originally built this team, I thought about running HP Steel or HP Poison to deal with this Clefable. Because I didn't need it to set up a Calm Mind and sweep me if it potentially could. And I looked at it, and Psychic ended up doing more. To an unaware Clefable, I think Psychic does around... With my investment, it does around... I think it's like... I don't even remember the exact calc, but I think it's like 57% 57 to 67% versus Hidden Power Poison HP Steel doing like 56%. Or I'm sorry, 53% to 63%. So I was missing out on about 5% damage. So I was like, Psychic it is, HP Fighting covers the Aggron better, so let's rock out with that. Shadow Ball is there to deal with Alolan Marowak, which, if he clicks Shadow Bone at all, he will nuke me. Because Espeon is frail as shit. And then Psychic, of course, is to deal with all those different poison types he has, like Crobat and Toxapex, for example. Now, 232 special attack with a modest nature, 204 speed with 72 in my speed def. 232 special attack, Psychic, modest nature, gets 100% minimum damage even. 100% minimum damage even. It's not 100.1, it's not 100.2, it's 100% minimum damage on physically defensive Toxapex, which is what I'm expecting him to bring. So yeah, that's what that 232 is there for. And then HP Fighting is, I think, a 4-hit KO on his Mega Aggron because of the filter ability. And then Shadow Ball will 1-hit KO Alolan Marowak in any variation of that being existent. So what's my speed stat for? My speed stat allows me to outspeed the second fastest thing on his draft, as well as everything besides that. outside of his Crobat, I outspeed everything. Outside of a Choice Scarf variation of the Porygon Z, because Porygon Z's base speed is 390. Not 390, what the fuck? Is base 90, which allows it to hit 306. So to speed creep it a little bit, and because I didn't need to run max speed, I was like, okay, let me just speed creep this base 90. So I have 204 speed, which allows me to outspeed the what's it called? The Porygon Z by 1, because Porygon Z hits 306. So I outspeed it by 1. And I wouldn't have outsped the Crobat anyway, so I was like, okay, fine. Now, if he's a utility Crobat, max HP or 244 HP and like max attack or something like that, he would outspeed me. He would. But if he was bulky, he wouldn't have. If he was the bulky utility set, he wouldn't have. One thing I forgot to mention about Alakazam here, another reason why, and I think I probably did mention this, but another reason why for this max defense allows me to take one hit. So, actually no, it was max attack adamant, I think it is. Yeah, no, I take a max attack adamant hit. I take one of those hits, and then non-attack invested utility Crobat does less than a 2-hit KO, 44% minimum. So that's what that max defense was there for, as another reason behind that. But yeah, 204 speed allows me to outspeed Alakazam, or not Alakazam, allows me to outspeed the Porygon Z, and then everything below that speed tier, outside of a Choice Scarf Porygon Z, of course. And then the Crobat, if it's a bulky variation of Crobat instead of an offensive variation, aka Choice Banded and things like that. So there we go. And then 72 Spadef was just there for me to kind of just deal with Clefable a little bit better. Really, it was just there for me to deal with Clefable better, take a Scald better from his Toxapex as well. So that's what that was there for. The next Pokemon we have is a bit of a different Landorus this week. We have a Yachi Berry Intimidate Landorus Therian this week. 248 HP, 8 defense, max Spadef, Yachi Berry Landorus Therian. It was Calm Nature. Was it Calm that I was supposed to bring? It wasn't Calm that I was supposed to bring. I was supposed to bring Careful. I didn't look this over when I was in the team builder, when I was building it, but it's actually supposed to be Careful, because if you'll notice, the Calm Nature actually decreases my attack stat, so that was a misprep on my end. So RIP. Careful Nature allows me to not lose out on my attack stat. Oh, that's why oh my god, it makes so much sense now. You'll find out what I mean a little bit from now. But 248 HP, I bought Calm to the battle. I meant to bring Careful, but I bought Calm to the battle, which is an attack decreasing nature. We'll see what happens. And then 8 defense, because I had 8 EVs left. Max Spadef. Max Spadef this week with the Careful Nature was intended. Calm Nature was bought, but I don't know. Anyway, Careful was intended. It is what it is. Yachi Berry. Now, y'all are like, well, you usually bring physical defensive impish variations of this. What the hell is a Yachi Berry Landorus there for? Well, I just mentioned the Porygon Z was an option. Porygon Z carries Thunderbolt. Porygon Z carries Ice Beam. Porygon Z carries Tri-Attack, potentially. And then the fourth move is Z Conversion, but we're not allowed to use Z Conversion, so he would probably have bought something else if he did bring Porygon. I'm not sure if he did, but yeah. So, 248 HP, 8 defense, max Spadef, Yachi Berry. This Yachi Berry build allows me to take an Ice Beam and take like 44% damage. And click Earthquake and nuke him. Click Earthquake and nuke him. Click Knockoff and nuke him. I think it was able to nuke even if I did have the attack drop, so I don't know. I didn't calc it. It is what it is, though. But yeah. And the second Yachi Berry would have killed me, but I would have been able to U-turn out at that point and gone out to, like, Donphan or something like that, which is our next Pokemon, by the way. But I'll cover him in a moment. And another option that I had was Assault Vest Landorus this week, just to deal with the Porygon Z a little bit better. But as you'll notice on our set here, we have Stealth Rocks. This was our Stealth Rocker this week, because nothing else other than Minior, which I'll never run Stealth Rocks on, has access to Stealth Rocks. Donphan did, but again, 4-move syndrome, not sure what to do with it. So, we ran Stealth Rocks on this. Yachi Berry worked for the situation, so it is what it is. Assault Vest probably would have worked as well, but we tried this. It seemed to work. Well, let's hope it worked. 248 HP, of course, because I need to be uneven, because if I run 252, it will be 382, which will mitigate my entries on Stealth Rock, because even versus uneven mitigates or gives me one less entry because of how much damage Stealth Rocks will do to me. So 8 defense because I had the 8 EVs left, and then max Bidef, Yachi Berry to deal with Porygon Z, but still a defensive Landorus. The next thing we have on our draft this week is, I think, potentially a debut. I'm not 100% certain of that. If it's not a debut and y'all remember Donphan from another week, probably week 2, I think. Actually, no, I think we had this in week 2, but I finally gave it a nickname. We have Keeping It Rollin', our Rocky Helmet, physically defensive Donphan this week. Rocky Helmet, of course, sturdy because sturdy versus Sandveil or Sand Force, whichever the abilities he gets. I don't remember. Let's find out right now. He gets Sandveil, so I think sturdy was better for him in comparison. So, yeah, we have Donphan, keeping it rolling, because we're here, we're keeping it rolling. We have Rapid Spin, Earthquake, Ice Shard, and Poison Jab. Now, Rapid Spin because duh. Utility, get rid of hazards on our side. For example, his Mega Aggron gets Earthquake, so I want to get rid of those hazards as quickly as possible. Not that anything on our team other than Minior takes rocks damage very, very difficultly. It takes a lot from rocks, but regardless. Earthquake, again, like I said, lots of poison types. I need to nuke them, all of them. Ice Shard was priority, and it was coverage against, my choice of coverage against the, against the Crobat on his team. And then we have Poison Jab. Poison Jab was coverage against the Clefable. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I'll just rock out with this. Our investment spread. We have an impish, physically defensive variant of Keeping It Rolling, the Donphan, which is what Landorus would typically be, but this week it's Donphan because Yachi Berry Landorus. 216 HP, 164 attack, 128 in my defense. Now, originally when I built this team, I think I had like 132 attack or something like that, which would have been enough for Earthquake to nuke something. But I decided before the battle to change my investments a little bit. I made the attack set 164, and what this 164 attack investment allows me to do is Poison Jab will 3-hit KO, physically defensive. Poison Jab will evenly, I think it's like 33 to 34%, evenly 2-hit KO or 3-hit KO I cannot think, the fucking Clefable. That's what it is. It will 3-hit KO the Clefable. Earthquake will Earthquake after my investment 164 actually evenly 2-hit KOs Toxapex. Rapid Spin is just Rapid Spin, and Ice Shard does around 30%. I think it's like 27% to bulky Crobat, max HP Crobat. So that's where that investment is coming from. 216 HP because I had to take some of my HP EVs because I originally had like 248 to increase my attack stat, and then I had 100 and I think it was 124 in my defense because originally that's all I had left for my defenses. So I put 124 there. But I had 220 HP left, but I wanted to run uneven HP number on Donphan because I don't know why. Because he doesn't take stealth rock damage very much. So it doesn't really matter for him. But I was like, forget it. Let's just do it. I took, instead of 216, I went with 200 and... I'm sorry, instead of 220, I went with 216 on my defenses because I like 75 better than 76 for some reason. 164 attack because duh. And then those last 4 EVs, I had the option of putting into my defense or my special defense. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Put them on my defense stat. I contemplated putting them in my special defense as well. But I didn't. At the end of the day, I didn't. I could have, but I didn't. It is what it is, though. But yeah. So the last Pokemon we have is a season debut. 4 weeks into the league, we have a season debut. Ahoy Captain, our Z Captain, and our team captain, Ahoy, the Mew, as in Ahoy Captain. I thought it was a really interesting name, so I went with it. Mew is, of course, generalist. It will be shiny because I like shiny Mew better than I do regular Mew. But this week, I decided to run a support offensive Mew kind of thing. We have Taunt on here as another way for me to deal with, his Stealth Rocks, another way for me to deal with Calm Mind Clefable, another way for me to deal with Toxapex, another way for me to deal with Toxic Spikes, Toxapex, and a lot of different things like that. Focus Blast is to neuter pretty much the Mega Alakazam. No, nigga, I have Mega Alakazam. It's for me to deal with the Mega Aggron. Mega Aggron minimum roll with my investment does 59%. I think the maximum roll is like 69 or 71% or something like that. But I'm not going to calc it right now. We have Psychic, of course, to neuter Crobat, to neuter freaking Toxapex and things like that. Now, here's what here's the reason why I bought this. Because Clefable was a big thing for me. Because Calm Mind Clefable rips through teams potentially. So I was like, I need a direct response to Clefable because I've covered everything else on this team outside of Clefable. I've covered everything. When I was building this Mew originally, I wanted to run Flash Cannon, Steelium Z, Corkscrew Crash. But then I looked at it, I was like, what if I ran Sludge Bomb Poisonium Z? Poisonium Z actually does, I think, 5% more versus Corkscrew Crash against Unaware Calm Mind Clefable, because that's the set that I was calcing against for this. So I went ahead and decided, alright, let's run the Poisonium Z. I ran Sludge Bomb, of course, because I don't want to hit him with physical Poisonium Z. I don't want to have it be freaking Poison Jump Poisonium Z, because that will do less instead of especially offensive Pokemon, or especially offensive move to deal with it, because of the fact that he could run it physically defensive most prominently. So yeah, that's why I ran Sludge Bomb Poisonium Z, because I needed special Acid Downpour, Psychic to neuter everything else, Focus Blast to neuter the Mega Aggron, like I said, and then Taunt is just utility to deal with his hazards and things like that. So now let's cover the investment spreads a little bit. Base stats around the board are base 100, which is why I drafted Mew as our Z captain, as well as the fact that he can learn every move in the game. But we have 248 HP, which allows me to deal very, very, very well with Calm Mind boosted Clefable. So that was there for that. 184 special attack allows Sludge Bomb, Acid Downpour special Sludge Bomb to do 91% minimum damage to physically defensive, minimum damage of 91% to, I think it's 107% max, to a physically defensive Unaware Clefable. I looked at it as potentially, what if it was max special attack? Max special attack acid downpour does like 96.6% or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. But stealth rocks are a thing. But then he's probably magic ward. But I can click sludge bomb, I can click acid downpour, and psychic and kill, and he can't kill me because he can calm mine. But I have 76 Spadef, which allows me to live any hit from him regardless of if he's calm mine or not. So that's what we have that there for, and that is the team that we are rocking out with for this week in the STL against Andalals, Ampharos, I guess is what I would call it. I don't know. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the battle. So, oh, I forgot about Conkelder. That's what I forgot about. I forgot he also has access to Conkelder. And I mentioned the Murkrow as a potential option. I forgot about Conkelder, which he could have bought Assault Vested, which would have been a very, very good bring on his end. I apologize for forgetting that, but things aren't perfect. But like I said, in the team builder portion of this, you guys had access to the screen or the team breakdown potentials for what he could have bought on your right side. So you guys had seen it, but I had forgotten about it. I apologize. But anyway, as we look at my opponent's team here, my opponent bought the Toxapex, which is a Pokemon that I expected him to bring. He bought Murkrow, which I was like, he could not. He bought the Mega Aggron, which is like, okay, cool, do that. He bought Clefable, which is why I have Mew specifically. And I was like, this is a big thing. He has to bring this. He brought the Alolan Marowak because, like I said, in the team builder, 4 of my Pokemon on my draft get nuked by freaking Shadowbone, Thick Club, Shadowbone, Thick Club, Marowak. Especially Alolan Marowak, who gets stabbed off of both of them. My Tapu Bulu, of course, as another potential option, also gets blown away by Flare Blitz in any variation. Especially Thick Club boosted. Adamant. Especially Thick Club boosted. So he would nuke me there. And he also bought the Conkelder, which I was like, he could probably bring that, and I'm probably assuming he will. And if he does, it's going to be Assault Vest, most likely. So he didn't bring the Porygon Z, which I was like, why didn't you bring Porygon Z? I didn't ask him, obviously, but I am very curious as to why he didn't bring Porygon Z. But it is what it is. This is my opponent's team. Toxapex, Murkrow, which probably has Prankster, let's be honest, or it should at least have Prankster. Mega Aggron, he has Clefable, he has his Alolan Marowak, and he has his Conkelder. Looking at leads, I probably assume he was going to lead Mega Aggron because he doesn't have any lead. Momentum gainers. He could probably have led Toxapex as well, given that Toxapex could do turn 1 Toxic Spikes. So, as I had also said in the team builder, our dedicated lead for this week was Espeon, like it usually is, and the reason why is because I could bounce back his Toxic Spikes if he leads with his Toxapex, bounce back his Rocks if he leads with Mega Aggron, which are 2 leads I potentially expected when I was battling him earlier today. So, let's go ahead, without further ado, and I'm going to stop rambling now, let's go ahead and hop in to the battle. So, like I said in a second ago, I expected him to bring either the Toxapex or the Mega Aggron lead, and he actually decides to lead with Mega Aggron. So he's going to go ahead and Mega Evolve, click off. I'm actually going to click HP Rock, or not HP Rock. We said the team builder, it was HP Fighting, which does around 37%, which is just about mid-roll damage to a physical defensive Aggron. That's just about how much it's supposed to do. So that led me to believe that he was physically defensive Aggron, potentially specially defensive on the Conkelder, and then maybe physical defensive on the Clefable, maybe specially defensive, maybe mixed, or something like that. Or he could have just been Unaware Calm Mind offensive Clefable, max attack, max special attack, max speed, potentially as well. So, excuse the Skype notification if you guys hear it. It's not something I can control, but yeah. So yeah, he clicks off his Stealth Rocks here, and my Magic Bounce is this is exactly why I bought Magic Bounce, because Magic Bounce bounces off. Magic Bounce allows me to bounce the Stealth Rocks back. So basically, he put up Stealth Rocks for me for his own side, which I think was a misplay on his end, because he says later on in the commentary, as you'll notice on the side on the right here, that he's gonna say, "Oh duh," on the side. He'll see in a moment. And that is because he remembers, oh, Espeon gets Magic Bounce, duh, right? I guess he overlooked that as a potential as a potential bring for me when I was team building, or he just forgot that that was a thing. So, I guess he forgot. So, he's able to put rocks up for himself, and he's putting up rocks for me. He switches out to his little Marowak, because he's like, this I have Shadow Bone for. As you'll notice over here, where my mouse is, on the side, on the right, he said, oh duh, which is a direct indication that he knew that Espeon got Magic Bounce, but he forgot or didn't think I would bring it. Which I don't know why, because Magic Bounce is the ideal bring. So I don't know. Either way, he's gonna switch out to his Marowak, and he's going to take 24% damage, which leads me to believe it is 248 HP out Adamant Attacker. Now, I have Shadow Ball specifically for this situation. I have enough speed to outspeed him because his base speed is 45. So he switched into this thing because he's like, well, I kind of need something to deal with you, so I'm going to click into this thing because you can't kill me with Psychic, and I can click Shadow Bone and nuke you, right? So at this point, I clicked off HP Fighting. It was a good prediction on his end because he knew I was going to click HP Fighting again. It was a good prediction on his end because he knew that was coming, so he switched into this thing to soak it up. Good prediction, good play, very, very well done. But on this end, I probably, excuse this again, if I was him, I probably would have switched into Mega Aggron here, expecting me to click Psychic or Shadow Ball or something like that. But he decides to go ahead and stay in. So I click Shadow Ball and nuke him because, like I said in the team builder, 184 special attack, modest life orb attack. Shadow Ball does a minimum, I don't know if I said this in the team builder, but it does around 110% minimum damage to Alolan Marowak. So no matter what Alolan Marowak he wanted to bring, outside of a choice scarf, of course, he would have gotten blown away. Unless that was an Assault Vest variant of that, which, based on the damage, it was not. If you bought an Assault Vest variant of that, he probably would have soaked up one of those, clicked Shadow Bone, and nuked me. But he didn't. So, like that, Espeon is able to pick up its first kill. For this battle, it picks up a little Marowak with Shadow Ball, takes Life Orb damage, of course, and he goes into his Murkrow. Now, right here, I didn't know what he wanted to do for his Murkrow, because I said in the team builder, and again, I don't know if I said it, but Murkrow's common set has access to Sucker Punch, and we know that Espeon's frail as shit, so he can click Sucker Punch and nuke 3, maybe 4 of my Pokemon, right? So I was like, no, we're not doing that. Another thing I potentially expected, and I'm looking at this in hindsight, and I probably shouldn't have done this, I expected him to click Thunder Wave here potentially, forgetting, then, just like he did earlier, I forgot that I have Magic Bounce, which prevents me from getting Thunder Wave. So, predicting his Thunder Wave, I made a very, very defensive play, as well as, well, I'm not even going to say this was predicting Thunder Wave, but this is what more was predicting the Sucker Punch to come out. I went ahead and switched out here, and I went into my Donphan because I was like, you can't do anything to me. He goes ahead and clicks Calm Mind. Now, he went ahead and clicked Calm Mind, right there, and I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing, okay? So I was like, okay. But I was happy because I had access to, on the set, I had, Ice Shard, like I said in the team builder. It was for Crobat, but this was also for this Murkrow thingy. So, we had Ice Shard for this. I was like, okay, well, that's the only move I can click to nuke you. So I'm going to go ahead and click it to nuke you. We all know that Murkrow's an Eviolite, so he's not going to get nuked, right? So, I fire off my Ice Shard. It does around 30%, I think it is. It does around, what is it, 50? No, 32%, yeah. It does 32% to him. And I was like, I kill on a damage roll at this point. I kill on a damage roll, forgetting that he's Evilite. So I was like, okay, well, let's go. He's +1 special attack, +1 special defense. So I was like, okay, let's go. I click Ice Shard once, I click Ice Shard again. He lives on 9, so he takes a maximum roll of 91%. So I could have switched into my Landorus here, probably, instead of taking the second Dark Pulse. It was just a matter of preserving differential at that point. I guess at this point I could have switched into my Landorus to deal with that, but it is what it is. So he's going to click Dark Pulse. I'm going to go ahead and let Donphan drop. Misplay on my end, I think, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't have Sucker Punch at this point. I have nothing to fear. I'm going to go into Espeon, click off HP Fighting, pick it up, take Life Orb damage. Espeon gets a second kill of the game. He goes into Toxapex. Right here, I have Psychic just for you. I did the calc just to make sure. Again, my investment allows me to do exactly 100% minimum damage to Toxapex with Shadow Ball, or with Psychic. He has 88% because of Stealth Rocks. I click off my Psychic. He clicks Baneful Bunker because he wants to stall it out and get his leftover recovery, which is fine. But it turns out he actually didn't have leftovers, I don't believe. Yeah, he didn't have leftovers. He's going to switch back out to Clefable. Now, this Clefable took 50.5 points percentage of damage. I sure as hell didn't expect it to take that much damage. So that led me to believe that he was either physically defensive with no HP EVs, or he was offensive Clefable. Which I think Clefable was a decent switch on this end, because like, what do? Because he was like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Clefable can take a hit and then click like Moonblast or something and nuke it back, right? So I think that was a middle ground play on his end. Decent play. So at this point, he gets his leftovers back. I click off Psychic again, and I'm not able to pick it up because of his leftovers recovery. So he's going to get leftovers recovery again. He's going to click Soft Blood. I was like, alright, this bullshit needs to stop. We got to stop this. I go ahead and I was like, alright, you Soft Blood, you do you. I'm going to switch out. I'm going to go into my Mew because, like I said in the team builder, this Mew, ahoy Captain, our Z Captain, this thing was designed directly to deal with this Clefable. This thing, exactly. This is what I deal with this thing. This is what I deal with this Mew. This is what this is for. There's no other reason that this exists outside of this. So I'm like, alright, you click Softball, you do you. That's fine. I was like, alright, no more Softball, none of this bullshit no more. I'm gonna click Taunt. No more Stealth Rocks, no more Calm Mind if you have it. No more Soft Boiled, none of this bullshit. And you'll notice right here, this nigga goes for Calm Mind right there. And I was like, alright, good. I click off Psychic just to guarantee that the Acid Downpour kills. Because if you didn't notice, he didn't take Stealth Rock damage when he came in. He was unaware Clefable. So I'm going to guess that was unaware offensive Clefable. Calm Mind offensive Clefable. Instead of defensive Clefable, but I'm not sure what Clefable it was, based on the Psychic damage, so I don't know. Anyway, I go to Mew, I click off Taunt. I'm kind of glad I put Taunt on the set there, for this scenario exactly, because he clicked Calm Mind. But, when I looked at his team, I was like, there's so many different things it can set up. I'm like, we're not doing this. We're having Taunt on this, Mew, and we're also going to have I'm also going to have Taunt on Mega Alakazam. Also to deal with things like this thing over here on this Clefable. So yeah, I click off Taunt. He cannot Calm Mind. He clicks off Moonblast. I max HP, so I take 33% damage, minimum damage. 33% damage from his Moonblast, which leads me to believe he's somewhat offensive. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. But he gets his leftovers back. I'm like, alright. I don't know if you're going to stay in because you still have an Aggron in the back, right? He still has his Aggron in the back. I'm like, well, I don't know if you're going to switch. But I was like, at this point, I win regardless, so fuck it. If you switch into Aggron, waste my Z move. If you waste my Z move, I click Focus Blast twice and I kill you. Because Psychic will kill, or I click Psychic twice and I kill you. Or just click Sludge Bomb twice and I kill you. So it doesn't really matter. So I was like, alright, let's just fire off my Z move because this is what this is for. And if I were him, I probably would have switched here. But with Mew, you don't know what he's going to do. Like, you don't know what Mew is going to do. So you don't know whether it's ideal to switch or not. In this case, he should have switched, but he didn't. He could have also gone his Toxapex probably to soak it up. But I'm going to fire up a Z move. Surround myself with the Z move. My Z move, of course, like I said in the team builder, is Z Sludge Bomb, which becomes Acid Downpour. So I'm going to go ahead and let it off. Acid Downpour is going to pick it up. Super effective, as it should be. It does 73.4% damage to him, which is all he had left in his HP. But the minimum damage with my investment of 184 special attack was able to do 91 minimum percent damage. So I didn't want Psychic to do that much, but I probably could have clicked Focus Blast and had the same result. So it is what it is. So Mew's able to kill that thing with exactly how it's supposed to go. So the Clefable drops, I'm picking up a kill here. He goes in his Mega Aggron, I click Focus Blast here, and no matter what happens, as long as the Focus Blast connects, I will kill. Lo and behold, Focus Blast actually hits. I actually do not get the kill, because I guess I forgot the damage roll on this end. So I was like, okay, fine. I click Focus Blast, or I click Psychic at this point, I'll kill you. Because he, as you'll notice, from the Focus Blast, got a special defense drop. Unfortunate for you, I apologize for that. I wasn't intending for that. I didn't notice that until just now either, but I wasn't intending for your special defense to drop, but it did, and I apologize. So at this point, he's gonna go ahead and be like, okay, well, I can't do anything with this with the Aggron anymore because the special defense he's gonna kill. So he's gonna go ahead and click Heavy Slam, which does so much damage. Holy crap! It does 46%, which is because of the speed difference, and this is another reason why I was running the 248 HP that I was running to be able to deal with Heavy Slam Mega Aggron. Which is another thing to be noted is that if Mega Aggron got the chance to sweep, Heavy Slam kills 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 of my Pokemon, depending on if he has an Intimidate drop on him or not. So he had a lot of sweeping room with Heavy Slam Mega Aggron if I let that thing prosper. He clicks off Heavy Slam, he does like almost 50% damage to me, given that I am 248 HP with 100 base stat. Goes to show you just how heavy and how painful Mega Aggron can be. So yeah, that's a thing to be noted. At this point, I was like, I could risk the Focus Blast. I could risk the Focus Blast and then miss and then lose my Mew. But I was like, no, we're gonna preserve differential. I'm gonna click Psychic because at this point, Psychic will kill. I click off Psychic. I pick up the kill like I'm supposed to, just like that. At this point, he goes into his Conkeldurr, takes the Stealth Rock damage. I was like, okay, well, let me get an Intimidate drop on you, right? Because you can't do anything to me, right? Let me get an Intimidate drop on you. So I'm gonna make the switch into my Landers here. I'm not predicting anything. I was just like, let me just get an Intimidate drop. Let me just be safe and just kind of nuke your team slowly. And on the side over here, I see GG because at this point, there's no winning for him. I apologize, but there's no winning for him at this point. So I'm going to go to my Landers, play it a little bit safer, get the attack drop on him with the Intimidate, and he's going to reveal Thunder Punch. I don't know what you have that there for. Maybe the Minior, but I don't know why you would use Thunder Punch on my Mew, but I guess that in his team build, that's the best move he had to hit me with, I guess. I don't know. So, as you notice, the Thunder Punch doesn't do anything to me. He's going to click Mach Punch to get priority damage, and he's going to do all of 7% damage to me. I'm going to click Knock Off, and lo and behold, I told y'all that he could probably be Assault Vest. He would probably be Assault Vest based on the fact that I have 1, 2, 3 special attackers on my team, as well as 3 physical attackers. on this team specifically, but the most of my team is special attackers. So Assault Vest Conch Elder was ideal. So lo and behold, he does in fact have the Assault Vest on him. So I was like, all right, well this is good. This is good. I knocked off his Assault Vest. So I was like, okay, cool. So at this point, I'm gonna click Earthquake, and the damage output was around 40%. I was like, huh? I guess, right? Because I was like, I kind of expected that to do more. I expected it to do a 2-hit KO roughly, around 46% or so, 46% or so. But as I noticed in the team builder, as y'all probably remember, I was actually running an attack decreasing nature in this battle because I wasn't aware of that. I was running a attack decreasing nature, so my attack output was decreased, which it really didn't end up mattering at the end of the day because y'all can tell the differential here. Y'all can tell. It kind of didn't matter because Landers clicks Earthquake again and pretty much kills, depending on the damage roll, of course. Because I did 39% damage to him there. Yeah, 39.6. So if I get the same damage roll or just a bit higher on the damage roll, I will kill him with Earthquake again. So I was like, okay. I was like, fine. That's fine, right? But that's a misprep on my end. If I had run the careful set that I was intending to run instead of accidentally clicking into Calm, I probably would have been able to evenly 2-hit KO him after knocking his Assault Vest off and the Stealth Rocks being up. So it is what it is. So he's gonna click off Knock Off, which is really good, but that is the standard Assault Vest Conch Elder. But he's gonna click off Knock Off right here, which is a good play. But at this point, the Yachi Berry was useless, so he's going to knock off my Yachi Berry, which was there directly for the Porygon Z Ice Beam, which he didn't end up bringing Porygon Z, so it didn't matter. He clicks off, I click off my Earthquake, and I'm able to get the exact same roll. So I'm going to assume that 39.6 was the Calm standard minimum roll. Was the minimum roll that I could have gotten with this. Or something like that. I'll probably calc it after the battle or after this, and I don't know, but it really doesn't matter. Two Earthquakes, pick it up like always. Goes to show you what 145 attack looks like. This is non-attack invested with an attack decreasing nature, and I'm still 2-hit KOing Conch Elders, which I'm gonna guess that Conch Elder was probably max Spadef. That's probably why, because he was max Spadef. Max Spadef Assault Vest, which is really good for him to deal with Alakazam and Espeon and Mew a lot better. So at this point, the Conch Elder drops, so I was like, okay, cool. I picked that up, so Landers gets the kill there. He's gonna go to Toxapex. I'm like, okay, well, like I said, I get a minimum damage roll of 100% on this Toxapex, about 90% of the time. So I'm gonna switch out. At this point, I'm going to go to Espeon because, again, right here, I expected him to either click Toxic or Toxic Spikes for a late game sweepy kind of thingy. But he's actually going to click Baneful Bunker again because he wants to stomp me out and see what I want to do, which is a good thing on his end because he was like, what if he packs Earthquake? Even though he's seen Earthquake, he wanted to protect himself and get recovery. So that's a middle ground play, I guess. So he clicks off his Baneful Bunker. I'm like, okay, fine, you do you. He didn't click Baneful Bunker again. I don't know why he didn't click Baneful Bunker again. He could have, but he was like, I guess at this point he was like, it doesn't matter. So he's going to let me click off Psychic. And like I said in the team builder, Psychic does it does exactly 100% minimum damage with my 232 modest special attack. So Toxapex drops. And with that, that is the game. And with that, your Texan Clearbodies pick up a beautiful 5-0 against, I can't say his name, Andal, I guess, are his two names. Andalaru is his name, I guess. And his Ampharos. GG to you, of course. It was a very, very good game. Kind of short, kind of fast-paced-ish. It could have been. It really and truly could have been a 6-0. And that's my mistake for not allowing it to be a 6-0, because if I had played aggressively and kind of was just like, fuck it, click your Sucker Punch if you want to click Sucker Punch, I'm gonna click HP fighting twice and kill you. If I had done that, we would have had a 6-0, but we actually had a 5-0 because I was playing defensive, I was playing a bit safer because I didn't want to have Espeon die after getting so many kills and it decrease its overall differential. So I played a bit defensively there, but that's my fault. Excuse Skype again. But yeah, so it is what it is. Regardless, we win. So in the STL, we currently are sitting at a beautiful 3-1 with a positive 7 differential. I think it is positive 7 differential. So we are back doing what we need to do, even though we lost last week, but it was Lev, so it makes sense. But if you haven't seen any of our previous STL battles, the link to the playlist for STL is linked down below. Check that out, of course. If you're interested to see what other content we have on this channel and have an itching to want to see more of the past content, the playlist to our content on this channel, be that the Tactical Team Builders, Showdown Showcase, or the Ladder Lasher Live, all 3 playlists will be linked down below. Check those out as well. And if you wanted to see more from this channel, as far as content is concerned, whether it be league content, competitive team building content, competitive battling content, or just showcases to learn what a Pokemon can do, if not a little bit more than that, then be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the uploads that we post here on this channel. Also be sure to show me some love by subscribing, but also by following me on Twitter in case you guys want updates on things like why I haven't uploaded some battles or some things like that. Twitter is the place to do that. So follow me on Twitter. The link to that is also down below. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is the end of this video, of course. I'm going to call it a video here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back for week number 5 in the STL next week. I don't know who we play against, but we'll find out when we get there. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call it a video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, of course, because y'all don't know how much it helps. But with that, this is your coach for the Texan Clearbodies in Season 1 of the STL. My name is Metagross Man, and until the next video, I'm out of here, y'all. Bye!